Then we say, Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. Serve Hashem with joy. B'ilefana b'nana. Serve Hashem with joy by bringing a sacrifice and come to Him with song. And that refers, after the sacrifice is brought, then you eat the leftovers of the sacrifice and you burn the leftovers of the sacrifice the night after and the evening, and then. So, Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. This is such an essential part of Jewish life. Again, right at the outset, we start out, Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. This is so critical, so essential, especially to prayer. Even though part of the preparation of prayer is that you have to feel a little broken, you have to break our sense of arrogance or false sense of identity. But prayer itself, servicing Hashem itself, has to be done with joy. Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. Joyful. Even though you're serving Hashem, you're servicing Hashem. But we do the service. Service means it's hard work. It's ivdu. And we said earlier, you have to serve Hashem with awe. But this service is done joyful, with joy. So much so that in the curses that we read at the end of the year, before Rosh Hashanah, the end of Deuteronomy, it says that Hashem says, why did the Jewish people deserve these 98 curses? And they're horrible curses. He says, Tachas, because you did not serve Hashem joyfully. So there's two interpretations. Rashi says it means even though Hashem blessed you with abundance, and you had no excuse not to serve Hashem, and nevertheless you did not serve Hashem. So the punishment is for not servicing Hashem. But you could have served Hashem because you were joyful. Hashem blessed you and you were successful, and He gave you health, and He gave you success, and nevertheless, you chose not to serve Hashem. But the Rambam says, that's not the interpretation. The interpretation is that you did serve Hashem. The only thing that was missing is the joy. You served Hashem, you did everything that was right. You avadita. But lo yavadita b'simcha. Tachash lo yavadita b'simcha. The only thing that was missing is the avodah, the service, was not done joyfully. It was done with a sigh, with a krech. You know, a great rabbi once said, why so many Jews, I think Moshe Feinstein said it, he says, why so many Jews, their children their children came to America, they were religious, and all the children intermarried and stopped keeping Shabbos, because they heard their father all the time, and they came home, he would say, oi, it's so hard to be a Jew. So they got the message, it's a pain in the neck, even if they were doing the right thing, but oi, all they heard and they remembered is the oi and the kvetching and the sighing, and it's so difficult and it's such a burden and such a pain in the neck. So they left. That's what the pasuk is saying. Yavadita, but le'avadita b'simcha v'tuv levav. You should have served Hashem joyful. That Izal says along the same lines. He says even if you did serve Hashem, but you didn't serve Hashem with the ultimate joy. It should have been a greater joy, not just a regular joy. A joy that's greater, that's greater than any other joy. The Arizal himself told Rav Chaim Vital, his prized pupil. He says, everything that I merited was because of Simcha Shel Mitzvah, because I was joyful. I served Hashem with such joy, and it was hard work. Arizal worked very hard. It says every single thing in the Talmud that he learned, he would sweat so hard till he was able to explain it 6 different ways. He worked very hard, but it wasn't a work, it wasn't a burden, it was a pleasure. Of course, it's like a person working in his mind to mine the diamonds, gold and silver and diamonds and pearl, or mining for pearl. It's hard work. But you call that work? It's a pleasure. Every pearl that I find makes me another $1 million. Are you kidding? That's work. That's pleasure. It's joyful. It's you work hard, but it's joyful. Ivdu es Hashem b'simcha. You have to serve Hashem b'simcha. Why this joy? So the Rebbe explains in one of the Simchas Beis HaShe'evis, the Rebbe gave many, many reasons why a person should be joyful. And the Rebbe practiced what he preached. Someone once asked the Rebbe, how are you doing? He says, Baruch Hashem. Thank God, I'm always b'simcha, I'm always joy. Once a chassid came into him and he was like a little melancholy. The Rebbe told him, mit Mordech Cheder sollst meine Dal Dames nicht stehen. Don't stand next to me in my 4 cubits if you're melancholic and you're sad. There's no room for it. You have to be joyful, and you have to be, and even though the Rebbe, a tragic life, the milieu that he grew up in was so tragic, and yet the Rebbe was always joyful. And the fact that Mashiach didn't come was the ultimate tragedy, that the redemption never materialized, and yet the Rebbe was always joyful. So the Rebbe explained, how can a Jew always be joyful? He says, let's start one step at a time. Firstly, Hashem creates us, something from nothing, every moment. That itself should bring joy. It must be significant. If Hashem is so infinite and so undefined and so transcendent, if He bothers to create us, that means that we're very significant, that it's something very significant. That itself should give us joy. Hashem is creating us, something from nothing, bringing us into existence. It says, then you realize, it says that Hashem created everything according to their will. The rabbis say Hashem created everything according to their will. Even a blade of grass, even the trees, the grass, because everything in this world has a spiritual energy that precedes it. You know, everything in the material world is just a materialization of a deeper reality, of a deeper dimension. Everything has a mazel, a malach, an angel, an energy. So the energy, which is the consciousness of everything, He created it, they agreed. What do you mean according to their will? Before Hashem created us, we didn't exist. It means after they were created, they agree. That they're in total agreement. And that includes us as well. That every one of us, whatever happens to us in our lives, it's really according to our will. Hashem creates us according to our will. That we agree with it. That after Hashem created us, we agree with everything that happens to us, including all the difficulties. Life is so difficult. Life is such a struggle. There's so much strife, there's so much tension. We agree to this? The answer is yes. Because we realize and we understand and we know in the deepest level that it's really a challenge. It's not that Hashem is throwing us curveballs from left field and, to make it impossible, and He keeps on moving the goalpost. It seems like every accomplishment, and then we take one step forward and 2-3 steps back. No, it's a challenge. It's an obstacle course, but it's a challenge to bring out all our hidden talents and abilities and resources. And we agree to it. We want this. It's according to our will. So even though we see the challenges and the difficulties, but we remember that this is what we wanted. We agreed to this. This is exactly what we want, and for good reason. There's a reason why we agreed to it, because it's good, it's for our benefit, it's for our good. So then we should be joyful. Instead of looking at life as, this horrible ordeal, and it's terrible, and I'm stuck, and I'm checkmated, and the more things change, the more they stay the same, and I'm going nowhere, I'm stuck in neutral. No. We look at this life as opportunity, challenging, and this is the place where you grow. It's like the butterfly, right? The butterfly is stuck, and then it breaks out, and it breaks loose, and it turns, it metamorphoses, it transforms into something else entirely. Can fly, so that brings joy. Another reason to give. So that's in general. That's true of all of God's created beings, especially when it comes to a Jew. We are the children of Hashem. We are Hashem's chosen people. Hashem placed His name on us. He says, I am the God of Abraham, and I am the God of Yitzchak, and I am the God of Yaakov. He didn't say that about any other created being. He didn't say that about any angel. He didn't say that about any other created being. God says, I am Jewish. I am the Jewish God. I am the God of Abraham and the God of Yitzchak and the God of Yaakov, and the Jewish people are my people. Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Hashem says in the Ten Commandments to each and every Jew stood at Sinai. Every individual Jew, God says individually, to every Jewish man, woman, child, infant, I am your God personally. It doesn't say that about anyone else in the universe. So that doesn't give us joy. Like once Rabbi Yitzchak Baditchev came to shul, and other customs, not in Chabad, they say the blessings in the morning, the 18 blessings, they say it in shul. He said the blessings, and he omitted the blessing, Baruch Atah Hashem, Shlo Yisani Goy. So what happened? He says, I'll tell you the truth. I woke up this morning, And I felt terrible. I felt that I'm worthless and I'm insignificant, and what am I doing in this world, and what am I bringing to the table, and what am I accomplishing? And I felt like a failure. And then I realized, I'm a Jew. I have the greatest gift, due to no fault of my own. Hashem chose me. We're not called the choosing people. We're the chosen people. Hashem put His name on me, and He chose me, and He chose us. So I immediately made the blessing, and I started dancing with joy. I have this treasure. I have this wealth that I just inherited. I didn't do anything. I just inherited. So that gives a person tremendous joy. Especially the next step. In addition, Hashem gave us mitzvahs. A mitzvah. Even before we fulfill the mitzvah. The fact that Hashem gave us a mitzvah. The fact that Hashem turned to us and says, you can do something for me. That alone creates a connection between us and Hashem. That alone bridges this infinite gap between us, this abyss between us and Hashem, this unbridgeable gap between a finite created being and creature. And even the most exalted and most sublime, highest creature, there's an infinite gap between the created being and Hashem. It's impossible to bridge that gap. But here Hashem bridged that gap. Hashem gave us a mitzvah. He says, you can do something for me. He turned to us. He called us by our name, and He says, you can do something for me. Do a mitzvah. That alone creates a connection. Mitzvah is tzeves v'chibur. Before I even get to do the mitzvah, the fact that Hashem gave me a mitzvah, it already creates a connection. And that's why I can do a sin. Only someone who has a connection could sin, because there is already a connection. So Hashem already lifted me up and connected me to the infinite, to Hashem Himself. That's before you even do the mitzvah. Let alone when you actually do the mitzvah. You do what Hashem wants you to do, and you're living the mitzvah, and you're fulfilling His will. You're touching the divine. It's a true mitzvah. Tzeves v'chibur, tafsa v'chibur. So that brings you joy. And the ultimate joy, as Alter Rebbe said in the 33rd chapter in Tanya, imagine if the world's wisest person called you up and says, I want to move in with you. Can I move into it? The wealthiest person in the world called you and says, I'd like to move in with you. Could you host me? And it's permanent.
Can I charge him rent?
Imagine if the Rebbe called you and says, Jeff, I'd like to move in with you. You think you could, you think you have room for me in your house? Are you kidding? I mean, it's like you won the lottery ticket. You hit the jackpot. This doesn't happen to 1 in 8-9 billion people. Hashem says, I'm moving in with you. Hashem says, I want to live with you. I want to move in with you. Please. Could you host me? Could you put a mezuzah on your door? Could you put some svarim in your house? And learn once in a while? Could you put a tzedakah pushka in your house? Could you have a kosher kitchen for me? A kosher bedroom? I want to live with you. I'm moving in with you. If that doesn't give you joy, Alter Rebbe says, he's looking for simcha. Shema Yisrael Hashem Elkeinu Hashem Echad. Hashem is with me. Hashem is living with me. Hashem is with me. Living with me. Moving in with me. That doesn't give you simcha. What does give you simcha? If there's Hashem b'simcha, this is so critical, this is so essential. This is the beginning, this is the foundation, this is the beginning, the middle, the end. A yid has to be b'simcha and serve Hashem b'simcha. Yes, it's hard work. It's challenging and hard work. We do it b'simcha, with a smile, with an inner joy. Simcha is not fun. Fun is mindless. Fun is you go to the bar and you erase your consciousness, and simcha comes from within. Simcha is from your neshama. Simcha is genuine. Simcha is uplifting. Simcha is inspiring. Simcha is real. It changes your life. It opens you up. It lifts you up. It lifts. You're dancing. Your feet. It lifts your feet off the ground. It lifts you. Every fiber of your being, every bone in your body lifts up the ground. It encompasses you. It elevates you. It expands. Opens your mind. Opens your heart. Opens your life. You see opportunities that are in front of you. Simcha. Ivdu Hashem b'simcha. Be'ilufana b'nana. Come to him with song, with singing. Simcha is in the morning, and Nana is in the evening. Simcha is the kohen who brings the sacrifice, offers the sacrifice, and the Nana is the singing of the Levium. They sing. Simcha comes from above. Singing is something that comes from the bottom up, from below. And then he says, Du'u, you should know, ki Hashem hu Elikim. Hashem is Holikim. Through seeing the miracles and acknowledging the miracles, you know, you should know Ki Hashem Holikim, that nature and everything within nature is really Hashem. It's really Hashem. Nature is nothing, it's just a shell. And it has nothing of its own. Hashem is what's inside of nature. When a miracle happens, you see that. You get a glimpse of that. You experience that. You see that. And nature itself is the greatest miracle. Nature itself is a miracle. Hu asanu, Hashem makes us. V'lo yanachnu, we belong to Him. Amay, we're His nation, v'tzei marisai, and the sheep of His pasture. He takes care of us. He creates us. Asanu, He creates us. We belong to Him. We're His nation. We're His sheep. We read it v'lo yanachnu, but the way it's written actually, it's loy with an aleph, not v'loy. Many times in the Torah, there's the letter, the way it's written in the Torah, it has to be written one way, but we read it the exact opposite way, in a different way. So the reading it contains the meaning, the understanding. But when it's written in the Torah, in the Tanakh, it has to be written. The holiness of the writing, the holiness depends on the writing. So the holiness of the writing signifies a much deeper meaning. There is the meaning that we can comprehend. That's the meaning that we say out loud, that we read. We read in a certain way. That's the meaning that we can comprehend. But then there's a deeper meaning, which represents the holiness of the temple, because it represents a much deeper meaning, interpretation. So Rashi says, Hu asanu, He creates us. V'loi. So the way we read it, V'loi means Him, we're referring to Hashem. V'loi, and to Him, to Hashem, anachnu, we belong to Hashem. But the way it's written, Loi with an aleph, Rashi interprets, V'loi, when we were nothing, V'loi, before we existed. V'loi, Loi refers to us. V'loi, we didn't even exist yet. V'loi anachnu, we didn't even exist. And that's when He made us. In other words, the way it's read, which is the revealed interpretation, and the way it's written, which is the hidden and the mystical and the deeper interpretation, represents these two perspectives that we discussed earlier. From the top down or from the bottom up. Hashem's point of view, our point of view. From our point of view, we exist. But we're saying, we belong to Hashem and we recognize that there's Hashem. But from the ultimate perspective, from the inside out, from Hashem's point of view, what's the ultimate perspective? We don't even exist. It's not something from nothing. We're something and we come from nothing. It's nothing from something. We're nothing and we come from something. We're nothing. We don't even exist. Whatever we are, everything that exists within Hashem, it's v'loy. It's in a state of non-being and non-existence. And that is our true state. Even after Hashem creates us, that is our true state. Our true state is the way we are in Hashem. We're not even there. We're nothing. We're nothing from something, not something from nothing. We're nothing. And Hashem makes us, creates us. And then He says, Boyu sh'arav b'seida, we should come to the gates, b'seida, with the sacrifice, with thanksgiving, come to the courtyard, and come to the gates, b'seida, come inside, that's inside the temple, come into the gates, with the sacrifice, chatzirayis of the courtyard, b'shila. Come to the courtyard that's outside, b'shila, with praise, hoidulai, give thanks to Him, baruch hu shemai, bless His name. Ki toiv Hashem la'olam chazdei. Hashem is good. Ki toiv Hashem is good. La'olam chazdei. His kindness is everlasting. Ador v'ador emunasai. And His faithfulness is for all generations. It's amazing how when you learn the Siddur and you learn every prayer, you realize the power of the prayer. That Siddur really has the power to change our lives and change the world. You know, Hashem created the world intentionally, the way He did. It's a really messed up world. It's really messed up. Really, really messed up. And the whole world is kakai. The whole universe is kakai. With that tzimtzum, shattering of the vessels, breakdowns. I mean, it's. But Hashem intentionally created the world that way. And He gave us, the Jewish people, the mission of fixing this world. That's what Alter Rebbe says he heard from the Maggid and the Baal Shem Tov. So we learned in the Holy Letters, in the 23, that if there were 10 Jews in a room sitting together, not even studying Torah, doing mitzvahs, a malach, an angel, will be burnt up, because an angel is just in awe of the 10 holy Yidden, 10 neshamas in this world. You know what they have? the power that they have to fix this mess. They're so powerful. Hashem empowered them. He sent them into this world, and they have the power to change the whole world. There were 10 Jews who messed up the whole world. If not for the 10 spies, the Mashiach would have been here already. 10 Jews destroyed the whole world, the 10 spies. And 10 Jews get together, they have the power to fix the whole world. We've been working on this for the last 3,800 years, and we're still here, we're still stuck. But Hashem gave us the power through the Siddur. The Siddur, every prayer and all the prayers together, it really has the power to change the trajectory of our lives, trajectory of the whole entire world, of society around us. There's so much in here, there's so much depth in each prayer. And with the power of prayer, we can really change the whole world, and bring Mashiach, really fulfill the divine mission and plan. It's so powerful, but we have to be able to unlock its treasures. Just going through the motions and mumbling the words, maybe that's why we're still stuck in exile. It's just not doing the trick for us. But you have to be able to act. Once you learn and appreciate in each prayer, and you get a feeling for each prayer, and you get a little of the gist of what each prayer, and why we need each prayer, and what each prayer is adding, and step by step, and it's really enough to inspire us, to move the needle, even a drop, but to move the needle, to really make a dent, to really make a change. The only way we can really make a dent and make a change is ultimately through prayer. Because that's when you change yourself. You can't change the world if you don't change yourself. You can make a lot of noise and make tumult, and it's very nice. But at the end of the day, it's words from the heart that enter the heart. We teach by example, personal example. We change, and we make a dent in our lives, a real dent, with an emes. The only way to make an emes, a dent, in our own personal lives, personality, character, behavior, in our own personal lives, in our hearts, which ultimately will affect everyone around us and the world around us, is only through the prayer book. There's no other way. There's no shortcuts. There's no other way. So it's not optional. It's not like an icing on the cake. It would be nice if I knew what I was saying. It would be nice if I had a little glimpse into the deeper, and that I can daven in a way that I could relate to it, and I can connect with it, and it could really move me and inspire me to change. It's not optional. The Siddur is not optional. There's a reason why we spend an hour or more every day davening. It's not optional. This is foundational. This is the foundational pillars, the central pillar. And that's what Chassidus taught us. So the whole Chassidus is teaching us how to daven.